This week on ENN Radio, I spoke with Emma Farrell, Elon News Network's design chief, about her role.
The graphics, I think, add that extra touch that adds that emphasis to the story that you might not get with just, a certain size font or a certain color.
And an inside look into the planning of Alamance County's first annual Hispanic Heritage Month Festival.
A little reunion that Alamance County has been looking forward to.
This is ENN Radio, a weekly podcast from Elon News Network, bringing you the story behind the headlines. I'm Kira O'Connor. And here with me now is our design chief, Emma Farrell. Emma, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Emma, can you tell me a little bit about what your role as design chief entails? What do you do on the day-to-day?
Sure. So my daily schedule looks a lot like coming into the newsroom and seeing the pages that our lovely writers have for us today. So stories laid out, and my job is to take these stories and put them on the page in a way that is not only appealing to the reader, but also adds an element to the story that can add a little bit extra so that our readers are more inclined to read more, catches their attention, but it also makes our whole paper look cohesive and it complements the contents of each story.
Wow, that sounds like there's a lot involved in your job on the day-to-day.
There is, but that's what's so fun about it. It's mostly a creative job, and so it's working on a day-to-day with these stories, and not only getting to read them and learn this information that our students are working so hard to find, but finding a way to make it look visually appealing, which is the fun part about the job. So I think I got really lucky with my position. I get to be creative, and I also get to see the content that we're producing.
That's great. And what drew you to this job? What did you like about it?
Sure. I worked a lot with newspapers and yearbooks in high school, and coming into Elon University, I knew that ENN had this fantastic real-world mimicking organization that really drew people in who had this passion for creating content and designing. And I've always been interested in design and art, and my minor is actually computer science, so a lot of the programs that we use are things that I use in my major and my minor on a daily basis anyways. So finding these positions that already complement what I'm learning and what I want to do in my future career, it was just a perfect opportunity to get me more invested into this type of career, but also have some fun and have a real-world experience that most other colleges might not have, or most kids might not be able to experience before entering the, real career world, as some people call it.
Definitely. And I would agree. I mean, you've got the perfect skill set there to be design chief and to really take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. It's not only having that skill set, but also enhancing it and improving it as the job goes on, which I'm really grateful for.
And what would you say has been your favorite, design or part of your job so far? You've only been in it for a couple weeks, but what's been the best so far?
I think the best part of it so far is designing the graphics. And I absolutely love designing the actual spreads for the page, but the graphics, I think, add that extra touch that adds that emphasis to the story that you might not get with just, a certain size font or a certain color. You have this graphic and it really draws in the eye. And I've always been really drawn to graphics and art and that kind of creative aspect of digital design. So I think that's been my favorite part so far is getting requests from our writers of, this is a visual that I want with this story, and I think this will look really cool. And recently we had a spread that had a story about like a ski shop, and so I got to design these mountains that covered the headline at the top of the page. And there's just something so satisfying about seeing a whole design come together and that one graphic completing it. It really makes the job really fun.
And if you want to see that story and more, definitely pick up a copy of The Pendulum. They're in the red boxes around campus and in the community. And speaking of great designs, I do want to shout out Emma. She had some great designs in the Hispanic Heritage Month edition of the paper this week, which hit newsstands on Wednesday. So definitely pick that one up as well. Well, Emma, thank you so much for coming on the podcast this week, and I'm so glad I got to chat with you.
Well, thank you for having me.
This weekend, Laura Mecalara will be one of many celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in Alamance County.
Alamance County is a place where we are also respected and welcomed. We are part of the growth of Alamance County. And coming from me, I'm Mexican myself. And there were times when I didn't feel maybe respected or maybe, welcomed. And
Mecalara is the committee chair for the first annual Hispanic Heritage Month Festival, which will be held at Alamance Arts on Saturday, September 25th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
This could be a way for many of us to say, hey, look at what Alamance County is doing. It's opening its arms and it's welcoming us and letting us be part of this community. And I also want the only American side to know that we are happy to be here and that we will also respect it and we want to bring the best and give the best because this is now our home. Since the first meeting, I said, I want this to be, about our roots, but I also want it to be a celebration of being part of this country. Being in the United States is a goal for so many Latinx people and origins. And being here is also a celebration, how we are now part of this country and how, we will, when you become a citizen, you have to swear that you would fight for this country. And so, I think it's a celebration of that, of celebrating where we come from, our ancestors, but also celebrating where we are now.
Sarah Rusthoven, who interned at Alamance Arts this summer, is one of 2 Elon students volunteering on the committee.
Really inspiring to be around people who are so passionate about the life of Alamance County citizens and making sure that they were doing this event the right way. And I just have loved being a part of it.
For Rusthoven, the opportunity for students to get involved in the greater community is one of her favorite parts of the festival.
Going to this festival is going to be a great way for anyone on Elon's campus to kind of get involved more in the community, kind of see a little bit more about what Alamance County offers outside of Elon. There's going to be a lot of community resources there and just different ways for you to get connected. Even if you aren't a Latinx or Hispanic student or just person.
Music, dancing, food trucks, resources, crafts, and more await this Saturday in downtown Graham from 12 to 8 p.m. And that's it for this week on ENN Radio. Subscribe to ENN Radio on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and follow us on social media at Elon News Network. For the latest news, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com. Thank you for listening.